Today we're talking about the film Coming Clean. And who better to talk about the film than the director herself, Ondi Timoner. How are you today?
Thank you.
So can you tell us about the film?
Coming Clean is really a film designed to bring hope, empathy, and solutions for recovery to the opioid epidemic, which is the deadliest drug epidemic in our history. And how we went about doing that is we found subjects who were coming out of addiction and followed them over a few years, and also policymakers who were touched by addiction, either in their family or in their city and state, and were touched personally and got involved. And kind of what happened is the characters and the policymakers came together over the course of those few years. And so the result is sort of the message is in the medium in a way, like connection is the opposite of addiction. And, obviously with COVID-19, opioid addiction and overdose deaths have spiraled out of control because of the isolation. So we felt like the movie should come out as soon as possible. But really, it's quite an uplifting look at a very, very harrowing disease. And the idea is to remove the stigma. It's not easy, but watching these people, it becomes possible to break free of addiction, I think. And it's really helpful. I think it's going to be really helpful to people suffering from addiction.
So the most impressive thing I found about this film is that you don't just have simply suffering here. You also have recovering addicts, actual legislators to talk about this, and some people who don't seem like they would suffer from this. My question here is, why this subject at this time?
Well, it was actually a few years ago, and I was approached by the Parker Foundation, Sean Parker and Alexandra Parker's foundation. And this is just, Alex Parker is a producer on the film, and this is something that was really, really important to them. And I think the main motivation was to bring light to this, to bring beauty to this. They're big art collectors, and they have incredible taste. And I could tell from the way they described it and a few images they had put together that they wanted me to go ahead and bring all of my artistic force to this really, really dark subject. And to create a beautiful landscape for telling the story of people who are suffering from this disease. That was really appealing to me. The idea, first of all, I'm a really solution-oriented filmmaker, but yeah, this is, the kind of thing where I had the opportunity to go ahead and, plunge into the darkness and into the very troubling history of big pharma and the way in which they have perpetrated, along with a lot of doctors that shouldn't have their licenses, massive crime on the American people, in that, hundreds of thousands of people are addicted to painkillers that were overprescribed for profit, really, over people's pain. And the film does not shy away from any of that, but to frame it in a way that is moving and beautiful and touching, and is actually like a pleasure to watch. That's the challenge that I got to take on with this film, that I think is actually, it was actually like made it appealing to me, because I have made a lot of feature documentaries, and I didn't want to just go and do the same thing. And I didn't see any other film on this topic that brought the kind of grace that I think we do accomplish with this film. The animation, which I was dead set on doing from the beginning, to kind of bring alive the accidents. Stacey Pedersen is 65 years old and has suffered from opioid addiction for 30 years, and missed her kids growing up because she was in a fog, all because she fell and hurt her back on a skateboard that was like underneath a step, walking out of her house one day when her children were little, and then was overprescribed painkillers and ended up an opioid addict and then a heroin addict, and has had 20 overdoses and survived. That story, and her daughter, who was state representative Brittany Pedersen at the time we started in Colorado, didn't ever want to deal with opioid addiction in legislation because it was too close to home for her. But when her mom finally overdosed that one last time and was really near death, she just that was it. She had to make a move on it, and really got involved. And now Colorado has the most progressive legislation on the topic. To be able to illustrate Stacy's accident and bring that to life with the kind of animation style that we do was an incredible, win, I think, for the film. So, graphics and animation and a musical landscape that really takes you through the film. So yeah, that was what was appealing to me, John. I'm always excited to learn about something that I don't know much about, and I'm always excited to take my camera into worlds I could never otherwise enter. And in this case, it was treatment facilities everywhere. And I have to say, I felt like we all should be in treatment, whether we have addiction issues or not. The kind of transparency, courage, strength, radical sharing and owning of everyone's shit in those treatment facilities was inspiring, super inspiring.
Bentonville Film Festival is a very mission-based festival with inclusion both in front and behind the camera. As someone who's been to several festivals such as yourself, what is the significance of BFF and any other festival to you?
Well, I always wanted to go to Bentonville. Ever since Bentonville was founded by Gina Davis, and I understood its mission, I thought I should bring my talk show, We Talk, to Bentonville, because it's a talk show that celebrates the women shaping our culture. And so I wanted to get to Bentonville somehow this year before the pandemic broke out. And so I thought it was incredible when Bentonville reached out to me. They reached out to me to mentor some people, and then heard that I had this movie, and then also we were talking about doing my talk show there, and everything just kind of went down with the pandemic, and it turned into an online experience. So I have yet to ever make it to Bentonville, but I'm honored to be part of the program. And I do think that the concept of being able to premiere a movie online for a festival and have people join in one's festival premiere, I mean, after premiering so many films at so many festivals, it is really exciting. It was thrilling to know that, for example, the residents in the Odyssey House Treatment Center in Utah, where we made quite a few of the scenes of the film happen, and really wonderful treatment facility, that they watched it last night, was really meaningful to me, and that could have never happened. So that is a COVID silver lining. But I hope to make it to Bentonville next year, and they really want me to do We Talk next year. And so, I had to turn the jury down this year because I was too busy. So hopefully I'll just continue to stay involved, because I think it's a wonderful festival.
To wrap up here for our audience, where can they find you or any information about the film?
So comingcleanmovie.com is just launched like 20 minutes ago. So enjoy that. It's fresh, hot off the presses. Comingcleanmovie.com. It's Coming Clean Movie on Facebook. It's Coming Clean Movie on Instagram. And I believe it's Coming Clean Move on Twitter. And as you know, next stop festival-wise for us is Sidewalk, one of my favorite festivals in the world in Birmingham.
Thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for having us.